Good evening. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. It's Friday, it's 8 o'clock, and that means it's time for Orpington Virtual Jazz Club. How you doing? Can you hear me? Give me a wave. Yeah. Can you hear the music?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm getting the hang of this at last. So, it's very nice to see you all. So let me just, while we're just tweaking that there, I'm just going to mute a few. So it's hasn't it been a lovely day? Hence my shirt. I'm wearing my sunny shirt, and I'm very excited tonight because we've got another fantastic guest on for you. He's an amazing jazz trombonist and a fantastic singer, specialising in scat singing. Actually, Malcolm's a really excellent scat singer. He's been professor of jazz for 15 years at one of London's top music conservatoires, and where he's a senior lecturer and he specialises in teaching all the jazz students there. He's also a tutor on our summer school, so we might get to talk about a little bit about that. And like everyone else we have on the show, he's also a thoroughly nice chap, so it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm very pleased to have him on. And Malcolm, welcome, Malcolm.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah. How you doing? Hang on a moment. We've got various.
We've got some interlopers.
We have.
Yeah.
But good evening, everybody. Lovely to see you, and thank you, Buster, for inviting me along. I've been looking forward to it.
It's lovely to see you. Yeah, thanks for coming along and spending your time on this evening and joining us. So we've got a lot to.
Lovely to see Dave Silk.
Yes, it is lovely to see the amazing Dave Silk.
Oh, hello, Dave. Hello, Dave. Long time. Nice to see you.
I had my hair cut especially for you.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
A long time ago I saw him.
18 quid's worth.
Okay. You should have got an estimate first, mate.
Yeah.
Right, what we're going to do is going to just mute everyone. So, Malcolm, I'm going to unmute you now. So I think we're all clear. So we shouldn't have any more... See, it's a professional show, this, mate, isn't it? This is what, like, no expense spent, and what more can you say? So, how are you doing? How's things? How's lockdown? How's life? We've got a very exciting thing for you, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, because I know you like me to give you an exclusive, and we're going to hear. We have got another exclusive because Malcolm is releasing a brand new album tomorrow, and you're going to hear it tonight. So. That's exciting, isn't it? And thanks for sending the tracks over, Malcolm. How's that been going, the promo for that?
Well, okay, yes. I mean, I've been, putting the usual notifications out via email and Facebook and Instagram, and yeah. I mean, we had a single from it. We released a single, one of the tracks, Freedom Jazz Dance, which I think you're going to play.
We are going to play that.
Yeah, we released that a month ago, and quite a few people have purchased that, and we've had some really good feedback. But the rest of the album gets released tomorrow, which is very exciting.
And it's a very good timing, isn't it? Because there's a special. I mean, it's called Three Way Stretch, and it features Malcolm on trombone, it features Liam Noble on piano, and the late great Dave Wickens on the drums and percussion, who we sadly lost a year ago this week.
Yeah, yes, I think last weekend actually.
Yeah.
So I mean, Dave was a very, very dear friend of mine, and I know yours as well, Buster.
Yes.
And a superb drummer, a superb musician, and a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
And
very much missed.
Absolutely. And we really enjoyed playing together. First of all, as a busking duo, we thought, what better duo could there be than one consisting of trombone and drums?
I couldn't agree more, mate.
And we would go round, this is from about 2016, we would go round to Broadway Market, which is just around the corner from where Dave lived.
Yes, I
And we would
about it.
strike up
Yep.
various tunes in various styles, and we got some great feedback. And then we decided a little later on, well, actually, it might be nice to have another member. And we thought of the great piano player Liam Noble. So that's sort of how it came about.
Of course, you can't do any marching gigs then, though, can you? With the piano, that's the only thing with that.
Well, no, I suppose we could try and strap it to Liam's back and have somebody else play it.
There's a great scene in a Woody Allen movie, isn't it, where he plays cello in a marching band, and he keeps dragging his chair along and setting out the music, and then by the time they catch up and pass him, he's not even quite played. Anyway, so sorry, I'm sorry, off track. So let's hear a little bit of that. So this is Freedom Jazz Dance. And it's the single from the new album, which has been out. The single's been out for a few weeks, and the album's out tomorrow. And let's have a listen to that. This is our first track, Freedom Jazz Dance by the Three-Way Stretch. Freedom Jazz Dance there from Three Way Stretch. Incredible, beautiful playing, mate. Amazing.
Well, thank you very much.
Incredible musicianship there. And you can hear the connection because you have a very long-standing relationship musically, the three of you, don't you? And obviously Dave played in Liam's trio as well. So he played a lot in that, in the freestyle, a bit more freestyle there. So. And it's quite remarkable what you guys would. That's an Eddie Harris track, is it? Freedom Jazz.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So from that famous Eddie Harris album from the '60s, which is a real sort of like on a gospel feel. And then of course Miles did it a bit later on in the '60s as well. But it's such a wonderful tune, such a wonderful melody, and it inspires improvisation. You know, it's an incredible line. You know, and I've always liked it. And you probably noticed there that I'm using a whammy pedal on the trombone. I'm using a guitar. I use some guitar effects pedals on the trombone, which actually work quite well. And so and just to give it, it was just a little fun experiment that I decided to do. It's a remarkable
sound because the three of you, like musically and in terms of like the sonic sort of combination of the instruments, but the way you play as well, you've all got this tremendous history of like the history of jazz is in your playing and beautiful sound that you make. I mean, Dave's touch on the drums is second to none, and you've got this beautiful tone, and Liam's just remarkable, isn't he? He's like so sort of inventive and creative, but then you've all got this sort of free side as well, and you manage to combine those things which most people wouldn't think of putting together, you know, but it really works. I remember coming to see you guys first time I saw you at the Olivers, where we all talk, we've got some footage there, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. It's an amazing sound.
Oh, it was great fun to do, you know, and we never quite knew what was going to happen from, you know, one gig to the next, because we did a workshop with the students. We came into Trinity, you know, and they were asking us about what we did, you know, and what our kind of roles were in the band. And I remember Liam saying, you know, I have no idea what my role is in the band. And it's sort of right. It's just like, well, we'll just start and see what happens.
But this is the great thing, because you're trying something out brand new. I mean, I don't think that's been, I mean, I've never heard anything like that before. And certainly, you know, with a lineup like that as well. And I think that's a testament to the incredible musicianship that all three of you have, that you pulled that off and then you'll bring your electronics in as well. Well, we'll hear some more of it, but I just, sure. So it was a very natural evolution of just playing together. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Well, it kind of started, of course, with me and Dave playing duos, and then so kind of, I suppose the core is me and Dave, and then sort of Liam's the Earle as well. That's sort of the way that I look at it. But of course, it's quite fluid. and the different instruments in the group do have different roles. And of course, there's an extent to which I have a sort of bass role, particularly when I use the octave doubler on the whammy pedal, because obviously we don't have a bass, which gives it a different feel and a different sense of space. But I can adopt a sort of bass role from time to time. And then, of course, Dave can be incredibly melodic, so he can almost be like a horn player sometimes. And equally, I mean, Liam can fulfill all those roles because he's just got such incredible ears and sensitivity. So
I was just coming to say, you all have that ability. You never get in each other's way either. It just sounds really. I mean, and this again, it's not. There's not a lot of arranging going on here, is there? With this, this is
not really. No,
playing it and trying things out and seeing what works and keeping doing it.
No, it does sound very different every time, which is what I really like in jazz. But you know, I mean, everyone has their sort of things that they sort of retreat into. Yeah, we all have our sort of set routines, but with these guys, there was no choice but to try something different every time, which was very exciting.
Well, we're going to hear another track from this album now, and this is your premiere, ladies and gentlemen. So it's not. This is the album that's out tomorrow, and we've got this. Very traditional tune, Alexander's Ragtime Band. And this is Three-Way Stretch once again, giving their treatment on this tune.
Yes, by Irving Berlin. Irving Berlin's first hit.
Thank you. Yeah, fantastic. Alexander's Ragtime Band. Yeah, give him a clap, ladies and gentlemen. It's beautiful, mate. It's and the joy. I mean, it's just sheer joy. You can hear it in your playing, and you're all just having such a good time with that.
I love that tune. I've been
It's
playing
great.
that with trad bands right from when I first started playing, and Dave plays that style so beautifully.
Oh, those press rolls.
Really beautiful playing, you know, and a lot of people probably haven't heard him do that actually.
Yeah. So I've just got to say that if you've got any questions, ladies and gentlemen, put them in the chat box. And I'd like to say thank you to David, Stacey, my friend in Northern California, who's tuned in, and he's put the link up there. So you have a Bandcamp page for this album, don't you, Malcolm? And that's in the chat box now. So if you want to find this music, it's on threewaystretch.bandcamp.com.
Yeah, you won't actually see the album there until the morning because that's the official release date. But the page is there, and obviously the album will be there on the page. It's just not there at the moment. The single is there, but the full album will be there in the morning.
They'll be virtually queuing up outside like they do at British Home Stores at Christmas when they have the salesman. So we're gonna look at one of your other projects that you've done for a while now, and look at listen to some of your singing. So this was a band, the Vox City 5.
Yes.
Which do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean this band is sort of on the back boiler at the moment, but it would
Like
start.
everything.
Yes, I know. Yes, well, indeed. But this has probably been on the back boiler for a little bit longer. But it was. Well, this record dates from, I think, 2007 or 2008. So it's going back a few years now, but it features, well, I mean, the basic, it's a piano, bass and drums rhythm section.
Yeah.
Dave Whitford on bass, Barry Green on piano, and Matt Home on the drums. And then myself and the wonderful Welsh vocalist, Nia Lynn, are doing all the female vocals. And I decided to put some arrangements together featuring male and female vocals, and of course there's some trombone in there as well, but I suppose this is it's not a straight ahead bebop-y thing, but with some arrangements. And I really enjoyed singing with Nia. I met her first, in fact, on the Glamorgan Jazz Summer School, and she was a student tutor. She was only about 18 or 19. Similarly with Barry, we got together, did some playing, and then afterwards we thought, well, let's just carry on.
Yeah, well, she's great, isn't she? What a talent! I mean,
and I don't see enough of her now because she's back in Wales now. I see her about once a year, but it was a fun band, and we did quite a lot of gigs back at that time, and we had a lot of fun.
So we're going to hear a bit of that now, ladies and gentlemen. This is Blue Skies, and this is the Vox City 5.
Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebirds singing a song, nothing but bluebirds all day long. I never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things looking so right. Noticing the days hurrying by, how they fly. Blue days, all of them gone, nothing but blue skies from
from now on. Blue sky smiling at me. Nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebirds singing a song. Nothing but bluebirds all day long. I never saw the sun shining so bright. Never saw things looking so bright. Noticing the days hurrying by. When you're in love, while they fly. Blue days, all of them gone. Nothing but blue skies from now on.
Yeah, blue Blue skies there. Fantastic. Yeah, let's give a round of applause.
Very much.
Virtual or real, we accept both.
Interestingly, that tune was written
Mate,
by
I've
the
got
same. Irving Berlin wrote both that one and the
Yeah.
previous tune.
That's right. Yeah, a bit
So
of
it's a link. We got a link between the
Very
two,
nice.
the two tunes.
Yeah, it's great arrangement, mate, as well. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Fantastic. And you and Nia interweaving voices there, that was really beautiful.
Oh, well, she was one of. I learned a great deal about singing from her because I was sort of a trombonist doing a bit of singing on the side, whereas Nia was always like a proper singer, you know. So it was a great challenge to sort of try and match up to her, which was quite hard sometimes.
Well, she's fearless, isn't she? When she sings. I mean,
incredible vocal quality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Right. And so we're of course the time's going by. So ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to make a donation to the music tonight, we've got our PayPal link, so you can do that at paypal.me/BusterBirch, and you'll be very pleased to know, because I get so many people requesting this. I now have a Visa accepted. I can take Visa payments. It's getting very posh. So if you really want to give us some money, you can also use Visa now, and you can go to my website, go to my shop, busterbirch.co.uk/shop, and then you can make a donation by Visa on there as well. So that's all gratefully accepted, especially at the moment. And Malcolm and I will be splitting that. So that's very kind. And I know a few have come through while we were planning that. So thank you very much. It's much appreciated. So we're gonna look at another project now. So you've been hanging out with pop stars as well, haven't you?
Yes, staggeringly enough. I don't quite know how it happened. Well, actually, I do. It wasn't really anything. I just happened to be the
You're the man for the job, mate. It's just, So, ladies and gentlemen, you might have heard of somebody called Brian Ferry, who used to be quite a famous pop star, and
well, he still is. He still gets out and about.
Yeah, I'm teasing. So he's had a few hit records, and he did a jazz project, didn't he, a few years ago? And it started off with him singing some jazz songs. They were all kind of doing it for a little while there, weren't they?
Yes.
But he got a really good jazz band, didn't he? So included you and some great British jazz musicians in there as well. But then they followed that up with another project, which we're going to see a little bit of, where you took some of his tunes, his Roxy Music tunes, and some of his solo tunes.
Yes.
And then did them in a jazz style, and he wasn't singing on it. So they're like instrumental, done in a traditional jazz sort of style.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, I mean, as I say, he has always loved jazz. I mean, he's a jazz fan, but particularly 1930s jazz. And as I say, we did this project in about starting 1999, where he performed with a 30s band doing 30s tunes. And then, of course, as part of the live shows, we do some of his rock hits as well. Yeah. And then about 10 years after that, he decided he had the bright idea, and I thought it was a really good idea, of taking some of his glam rock hits from the 70s and seeing if he could interpret them with a 1930s sounding jazz band. And I mean, as you'll hear on this, he even actually sort of what he called distressed the recordings to make them sound as if they'd been recorded in the 30s. And it was interesting because his tunes, well, they're not like jazz tunes at all. And so they were very challenging for us musicians. Well, to put an arrangement together, and we kind of just improvised the arrangements, but also when it came to soloing on them, because the chord sequences didn't do what jazz sequences do. It was a real challenge, but actually I think it worked out very well. And this album didn't feature his vocals at all. They were just instrumental representations of his tunes. But then when we took it out on tour, we'd do some sort of instrumental interludes, and then he'd come on and we become a horn section for his rock stuff. So it was a real mixture. But it was a very enjoyable project. Very enjoyable, interesting.
So we're gonna see a little bit of a clip. We've got a very short promo clip they did to give you an idea, and then we'll listen to one of the tracks off the album. So this is a little promo, and you might spot some faces in there. So there's Enrico Tommaso,
Martin Wheatley, the guitar player. I think Alan Barnes might be. He did some of Robert Fowler. Colin Good was the musical director, a very fine piano player. John Sutton, who played for years with the Pasadena Roof Orchestra. So it was a great band. Richard White on reeds as well. I mean, a wonderful band, all friends of mine. So it was great fun to go away on tour with all these guys.
I bet you had a great time. So we're going to watch a little bit of this video now, ladies and gentlemen, if I can get this. And this is the Brian Ferry Orchestra. And it's just a little 1 minute clip to give you a little taste. And then we'll play a track from the album. So here we go. Yeah, fantastic. That's great. Yeah, it's a good sound, isn't it? And I think it shows like he's not. They've not just got a bunch of session guys and dressed them up in old suits, have they? They've gone to you guys and they've got the real McCoy. You guys. I mean, you guys.
I think that's the only way it could really work is to get them really new the style. And I mean that's Do the Strand, which was a huge hit for him in the early 70s. Yeah, and it was fun to play on.
Fantastic.
Really fun.
So we're going to hear a track from that album, and this is "Love Is the Drug," ladies and gentlemen, which you probably know, but this is given the jazz treatment. So here we go, "Love Is the Drug" from Brian Ferry's Jazz Age project, featuring Malcolm on the trombone. Yeah, fantastic. Give him a clap, ladies and gentlemen. Lovely, mate. Yeah, and Megan's put in the comments there shades of early Ellington. Yes, indeed.
That's absolutely right. It's a very Ellingtonian sound, isn't it?
Creole
very absolutely,
there, isn't it? Kind of conjuring up. Yeah, fantastic. So do let us know what you're thinking, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be shy. Put a comment in the chat box. It's always nice to hear from you. And if you've got any questions for Malcolm, I'm sure I'd be happy to answer them. So I think what we're going to do now, mate, is we're gonna look at the Basin Street Brawlers.
Oh,
so we've got a nice track, but I think we've got a bit of footage as well, haven't we? For that,
we do.
So tell us a little bit about this project then, because I know early jazz is something you've been involved with for a very long time, and perhaps from your early days of playing as well. How did this project come about?
Well, I mean. Well, interestingly, there is a connection between the last track and this track. The guitarist and the piano player in the Basin Street Brawlers were the same as in the Brian Ferry Orchestra. In fact, Colin Good was Brian Ferry's MD for about 17 years. And Colin I've known for years and years and years and years. In fact, we used to do a residency at the Ritz on a Saturday night. This was one of my first gigs. It was wonderful. And
all downhill from there then, was it?
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that.
Don't forget Orpington Jazz Club on there as well. Yeah?
Well, absolutely. It's going on the
CV,
Ritz,
isn't it? A bit like the Ritz. Yeah, you've got some Ritz crackers anyway.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. But I mean, Colin and Martin I've played with for years, but this band is actually led by a very fine trumpet player and vocalist, Pete Horsfall. Who has made a big impact on the scene over the last 7 or 8 years. And I mean, when I first met him, he was just getting into the early styles of jazz, but he plays it incredibly well. And he managed to get, we've done some wonderful gigs and we did an album, which did very well. And I think the video you're going to play is from a trip to Holland that we did a year, 18 months ago, something like that. And as you say, early jazz is something I've always done. I started, the first jazz that I played was early jazz. And I've always, continued to love that music, although I love all kinds of styles of jazz.
I mean, I think as well, it's probably fair to say, like, there's a lot of jazz musicians, sometimes they'll rock up to a sort of function gig and sort of try and bash through some of this stuff, but it really is an art form, isn't it? To do it well and do it properly, like anything, it's not easy. It's because it's fun and it's the chat. It's not particularly difficult harmonies, shall we say, but it's not easy to do it well and to play together in that way. Again, I think for me, when I hear it and I hear people doing it well, it's like there's a connection between the horns where it's very easy for 3 horn players to get up there and all solo at the same time, and really it's just a racket because they're all playing at the same time. You know, and what you guys doing is you're not treading on each other's toes, and you're really complimenting that. And I mean, you know, perhaps we could talk a little bit about.
It's a counterpoint. It's a counterpoint. You know, that's the thing, and it requires a lot of experience and listening, and as you say, you know, fitting in with each other. Because, you know, in modern jazz settings, which of course, I mean, I love all kinds of modern jazz, but it's the emphasis is on the solo, not the ensemble.
And I think that's where some people quite get it wrong, because they just play like they normally play. It's just there's three of them all playing at the same time, and they're not getting that, as you say, counterpoint, which is exactly the right way to describe it. And you guys do it absolutely beautifully. And so we're going to hear a little bit of that. This is Wolverine Blues. So this was in Holland, was it?
Holland, yes, we had a little trip to Holland, and you know, we did some wonderful gigs. And I only discovered this video when in fact you asked me to do this date, and I thought, oh, well, that's rather good. You know, I was pleased to find it.
Right. So here we are. This is a little bit from the Basin Street Brawlers, ladies and gentlemen. This is Wolverine Blues. So I need to press that, and then I need to press that.
There we go.
Man. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Fantastic. Give him a clap, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Oh, they're off again.
Oh no!
What have I done?
Switch him off
enough,
immediately.
Can't have too much of a good thing.
I like the way the clarinet player scratches his head halfway through the penultimate chorus. He plays one-handed and scratches his head with the other.
And there's a few comments there about the clarinet, and that was you and Bleach. Yeah.
Wonderful player. He
Really
plays
beautiful.
all the saxophones beautifully as well. He's a wonderful, and plays wonderful piano and sings as well. He's very talented.
Yeah, I know. They're annoying, these people, aren't they?
And young as well, very young.
I'm sure he's got a bad side.
Yes, I won't go into it, but yes.
Okay, all right. All right, I'm joking. So, yeah, do drop us some comments, ladies and gentlemen. It's very nice to hear if you're enjoying the music. And so, of course, the old clock's marching round. We've got about 10 minutes left. So, I think what we'll do is we'll talk a little bit about Trinity. So, Trinity College, you've been 15 years there now as senior lecturer on the jazz faculty there. And there's some real talent come out of the college in that time. And obviously, Simon Purcell was head of the department there. Who's going to be on the show, ladies and gentlemen, in 2 weeks' time? So,
well, of course, Simon left a couple of years ago. Of course, it's now Hans Koller, but Simon was there for 12 years. Did a fantastic job.
Yeah,
and he's a wonderful musician himself, and great piano player. It was
And
great working with him.
there was a mutual connection there as well for us through the summer school, wasn't there, as well? So, and
Absolutely.
And I had, I think, 7 years going into Trinity as well, teaching there, which was great with Simon, and it was always nice to see you in there, mate.
You too.
So some of the students that have come through in that time have gone on to really, big and great things, and it's just incredible to see that talent sort of coming through and going on and doing. And what do you think? How does that make you feel when you see that? I mean, it must make you feel good to see.
Yeah.
It's all in good hands, isn't it? And the quality, I think, of the musicianship now that the students are coming out with is absolutely. It's terrifying, isn't it? Really.
Well, I mean, it is. I mean, it's a great privilege to teach at a conservatoire level. There's no doubt about that, and I never forget that, because it's the people that turn up there, the people that get in have auditioned. Each year is no more than 20 students, and about 160 or 70 audition. So you've got to be good to get in there, but. It's great to see. I mean, I stay in touch with quite a few of the students who've left there, and it's great to see what they've done. I mean, people like Leo Richardson, wonderful tenor player, has done very well. Connor Chaplin, superb bass player. Laura Jurd, great trumpet player and composer. Elliot Galvin. I mean, there's lots of them, and they're all doing really. They were great students. They were really great students, and they're doing.
Spot it, can't you?
And and they were really together all the way through, and they've continued that since leaving. And it's wonderful to see that, and it's always great to see them out and about on gigs, and So
and I have to say, mate, I always thought you've got a great way with you with the students. They absolutely love you, and you sort of have this amazing way of getting across the sort of sincerity of the music and all that history and tradition, but it's great fun too, and I think that's something.
Well, absolutely.
Your playing and your approach to teaching as well. You've
got to find a balance between, having fun and the joy of the music, but also saying, well, actually, no, it's serious. It's serious business as well, and people need to be responsible for taking care of the music and putting in the necessary work and respecting each other and that. And it is hard to find the right balance sometimes. But I mean, looking back over 15 years, a lot of happy memories, and it's also a wonderful part of London to go down to Greenwich, a couple of times a week in that wonderful site as well. It's a privilege and a pleasure to do that.
And there's a very cool little bar, isn't there? Just down the road, and Oliver's. It's like sort of a French or Belgian kind of jazz club. It's down in the basement of this sort of dingy little step.
It's a bit seedy, really, isn't it? In a good way.
Character. It's got character, hasn't it? And charm and rustic charm.
It's run by a wonderful man, Oliver, of course, who's a great guy and very supportive.
Supporter. I was just going to say, yeah, like he's a fan of the music, isn't he? And this is always the way, isn't it? Anywhere where jazz exists, it's because somebody loves it. It's you know, they're not doing it for the money, are they? But they, you know, everywhere it happens, there's somebody there that's really doing a lot to support the music and support us to be able to play this music. So anyway, so this is a nice little clip. We've got some footage again now. This of you singing, and with Connor Chaplin on the bass, as you mentioned earlier, one of the students. So I think this is great. This is lovely.
Lulu's back in town.
Lulu's back in town, indeed. Fat Swallow, isn't it?
Well, he certainly performed it. Whether he wrote it, he might have written it. I'm not actually sure, but he certainly performed it.
I know the Thelonious Monk version is great. I like that's one.
It's a great tune.
It's a great tune. This is Lulu's Back in Town. It's Malcolm and Connor Chaplin. Oh, hang on, I have to press that first. Right. Quality. Here we go.
Gotta get my old tuxedo pressed. Gotta sew a button on my vest, 'cause tonight I'm gonna look my best. Lulu's back in town. Gotta find a $50 somewhere. Gotta shine my shoes and slick my hair. Gotta find myself a boutonniere. Lulu's back in town. You can tell all my pets, all my Holland coquettes, Mr. Otis regrets that he won't be around. You can tell the mailman not to call. I won't be back home until the fall, and I might not get back home at all. Lulu's back in town. Gotta get my old tuxedo pressed. Gotta sew a button on my vest, 'cause tonight I gotta look my best. Oh, Lulu's back in town. Gotta find myself a $50 somewhere. Gotta shine my shoes and slick my hair. Gotta find myself that boutonniere. Oh, Lulu's back in town. You can tell all my pets, all my Harlem coquettes, Mr. Otis regrets that he won't be around. You can tell the mailman not to call. I won't be back back home until the fall. And I might not be back home until Lulu's back in town. I'm shouting, Lulu's back in town. I'm talking, Lulu's back in town.
Yeah, how about that, ladies and gentlemen? Fantastic. Lovely, mate. Sorry about that little... My finger slipped there in the middle. Do you know what? Just seeing that just makes me think like about one of the things that is so great about jazz that you've got a senior lecturer, professor of music there at one of the top London conservatoires, basically jamming with a student in a little bar and just having the joy of sharing music and playing together like on equal terms. And on the hoof, like obviously not over rehearsed, and just like, that I think that's just magic, isn't it? That you can we can do that. There's not a lot. I mean, I'm trying to think of another situation where that would happen in another discipline or another, maybe even style of music. It's maybe.
No, I mean I don't think you'd have that with in the same way with with classical music courses. There isn't that. There is a sort of flexibility in the relationship that jazz teachers have with students, and I mean I think it's certainly true that they, we all do sort of gigs with each other all the way through. And that's very important because it's very important because that's the nature of the music. I mean, obviously, that.
I think that's like in the old days, people would sit in, wouldn't they? The younger players would sit in with the older players, and they'd learn from playing with them, and things like that. And we've not lost that. I think that just really highlights that. That's really special.
Yeah.
Well, mate, I'm afraid the time has beaten.
The time has flown.
It always does. Thank you so much for coming along. I'm gonna play out with there's one more track we've caught here. It's a very special track. It's a beautiful ballad from the new album, which is out tomorrow, and it features the trio. But before we go, I'm just going to say next week, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the amazing Steve Buckley, founder member of the UK jazz supergroup Loose Tubes, and he's done a lot of very interesting world music as well, so I'm sure there'll be some really great music next week as well, so do check that out. Then we've got Simon Purcell the week after, and then I'm off for August. I'm having a break, a well-earned rest. I'll not be doing any teaching or anything in August. Well, having said that, we've got our online jazz summer school for the 4th, 5th, and 6th of August. If you know anyone who's interested in joining us for that, we've got an online course. And then I'm having a little break. I'll be back in September, and I'm very excited because I've been testing some new equipment and new stuff. So hopefully it'll be a lot more professional and slick. But once again, thank you, Malcolm Earle Smith, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him a nice clap. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me, Buster. I've really enjoyed it, and thank you all for coming along. It's great to see you all virtually. Yeah. Maybe we can all do this again perhaps in real life. In unvirtual life, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Lovely,
mate.
Lovely to see you all. Thank you very much for coming.
And we'll have to get you back down to the club soon as well when it all opens up again. So we're going to wind up with this track now. It's a beautiful ballad, and it's from the Three-Way Stretch album, which is out tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget the tip jars there. If you want to make a tip or a donation, we can accept PayPal and Visa now.
And the album is on sale from tomorrow morning.
The album is on sale.
Bandcamp. So
Bandcamp. So what I might do as well is I'll probably put a few of these YouTube links as well up in the Facebook page. So we've got our Facebook page, so do have a look on there. So once again, thank you, Malcolm. Thanks, mate. It's been a great pleasure. And we're going to finish up with this. This is called I'll Be Seeing You, and it features Malcolm on the trombone, Liam Noble on the piano, and a beautiful playing on the drums from the late, great Dave Wickets. I have nothing to say to that. That's just so beautiful. Thank you, Malcolm. Thanks, everybody. See you next week. Take care of yourselves. Good night.
Good night.